sensible person would have filmed this review the second they finished the book and were like super excited about it. I'm only a somewhat sensible person though, so I'm filming this like a week later using the notes that I wrote when I had just finished the book. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. I have a single book review, which I don't do that often because I often don't have that much to say, especially about books that I like, and I don't love making videos that are just like 10 minutes of me being negative about a book. I mean, I kind of like making them, but also I feel kind of mean. In this case, however, I've read a book and it was so fun. I loved it so much. I had just so many positive things that I want to say. The book in question is Monkey King: Journey to the West by Cheng'en, probably. Asterisk there, we'll come back to it. And translated by Julia Lovell. This is a classic 16th century Chinese novel, and the reason there's an asterisk on the author, from what I learned in the introduction and nothing more, is that it was written anonymously, so we're not actually positive who the author was, but Cheng'en is like the best guess or like the most plausible answer, so that's who's on the cover. This follows a monkey who can best be described, I think, as part demon, part immortal, and he's like an incredibly overpowered superhero. He's just got like all the skills. So this book is filled with like mythical creatures, I guess you could say, deities, demons. It's a whole, like, half the characters in this novel practically, or more, are some sort of demon or god or something. Editing Rosie just popping on quickly to say that if you like the trope of like heaven and hell as bureaucracies or heaven as hell as like massive administrative systems, I don't know if that's a niche trope that only I like. I don't think so. I think it's a pretty popular trope. If you like that, then I think you will love this book as well. I got very heavy, that sort of vibes going on. It's really fun. And they all have all of these incredible powers. But Monkey, our protagonist, has like all the powers. He's so powerful. He can do everything. And he's also kind of a little shit. So he gets himself into some trouble. Then eventually, as sort of a like penance, I guess you could say, for all of the damage he's done, he's offered the chance to serve as like the assistant or like the protector to a Buddhist monk who's going on a pilgrimage from China to India to retrieve scriptures. And it's this huge, big, dangerous journey that takes them many years. I can't remember exactly how many years it takes them. Basically, it's this huge adventure of like peril and problems along the way. They're constantly almost being eaten, just all over the place in such a fun way. It has a sort of episodic nature in that each chapter or couple of chapters is sort of self-contained and they have a little adventure, they get into a problem, Monkey gets them out of a problem, they keep walking, they get into a problem, Monkey gets them out of a problem. You can probably guess the pattern after a few, but that really doesn't detract because there's still a remarkable and enjoyable level of character growth and like development of the relationships between them. Really loved seeing how the various characters went from very reluctant companions who really didn't think very much of each other or like each other very much to people who, if they didn't always get along, it was then like a, you know, friendly teasing sort of thing, and they worked together and saw each other's strengths a lot more and learned to trust each other. It was just really lovely. I think what really made this book incredible for me though was just like the writing style and the tone and the vibe of all of it. It was just so much fun. I obviously didn't buy this book thinking that it wouldn't be fun or that I wouldn't like it, but I didn't expect it to be as snappy and engaging and exciting and frankly funny as it was. I think credit for how enjoyable the writing in this book has to go at least in part to Lovell, the translator. For context, this is a new translation of, as I said, a classic novel. It came out in either 2021 or 2022, I can't totally remember, but it came out very recently. It's a new translation based on reading the book and also based on some of the stuff in like the note on translation or the introduction or one of those forwardy parts that I inevitably read half and then get bored and skip to just reading the novel. But I did read this part, and I think it really shows in her work is that Lovell really went for like the vibe, the feeling, the tone of the book, and it really, really works. The language that is used is so just fun. It's one of the first times that I've read a translation of something and gone, oh my god, I wish I could read the original. The language in this feels so modern, not in an immersion breaking way like, oh, and then, you know, Monkey said LOL, but just in like the way the characters communicate and the things they say. It feels like fresh and new, and it doesn't feel like a 500-year-old book. And I think that's because Lovell has really gone for how can I make my readers react to this the way the author probably was writing for his readers 500 years ago, not how can I directly, you know, word for word sort of translate this. And the effect it has is just incredible. But as I said, I also wish I could read the original now so that I could see what the original language was like, to compare it to how this translation is, because maybe it's not actually that much of a shift. It's just, that's my own perspective on it. I think it also does help that this is an abridged version, I guess you could say. The original has like 4 times as many sort of episodic stories in the middle or something. And I'm glad that she went for this approach, because I probably wouldn't have taken a chance on this book if it had been 4 times as long. I mean, now that I know how much I like it, I would 100% pick up a book that was just this, but 4 times longer. It really made it a lot more accessible and sort of like easy to just give it a go. Since I can't read the original, I am sort of tempted to pick up a like older translation of the full book now that I've read it and I know I like it. Maybe I will do that at some point. That could be kind of interesting, I think. But of course then I'm not getting still the original text. I'm getting a translator 50 years ago's take on the text. At the end of the day, even if I could read the original in Chinese, I still couldn't read it from the perspective that the intended or the original audience did, because I don't have that cultural and like historical context. I would still be reading it from a 21st century context, not a 16th century context. I don't have like an answer or a concluding statement on that. It's just something interesting to think about, and I would love to hear your perspectives down below. First of all, of course, if you have read Monkey King, either this translation or other translations, because I know there have been other translations of Journey to the West. Obviously, they've existed for decades, so if you've read one of those, what did you think of it? Did you enjoy it? And also, have you ever read a book where you loved the translation so much that you wish you could compare it to the original, but of course you can't because that's why you're reading a translated version in the first place, and it's an incredibly frustrating feeling to have? If you like this video, please give it a like down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, please give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.